Let's get right to it because we are continuing to follow the murder trial for Derek Chauvin. One of the witnesses testifying today is the young girl who filmed the video of George Floyd's arrest. She was 17 years old at the time, so they are not showing video of her. But here is some of her testimony from earlier this morning.
So was there any point in your video, whether it's 9 or 10 minutes, that Mr. Chauvin ever let up or got up off of the neck of Mr. Floyd that you saw?
No, if anything, he actually was kneeling harder. It looked like he was shoving his knee in his neck, like he was feeding off of our energy.
Another witness is this mixed martial arts fighter who testified that Chauvin was using a technique designed to cut off air circulation. Here is some of what he said yesterday.
The officer on top was shimmying to actually get the final choke in while he was on top to get the kill choke. He looked at me right here. It's the only time he looked at me. When I said it was a blood choke, it's the only time he looked up. We looked each other dead in our eyes. Yeah, and when I said it, he acknowledged it.
We also heard testimony from a 911 dispatcher who watched the live video from the scene and called the officer's supervisor because she felt, quote, something wasn't right. Wow. Al, what did you think of the witness testimony? First of all, we were all, to some degree, witnesses since we had all seen that video. But what did you think of their testimony?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, and I'm going to relate this to the Tiger King, but I'm not going to, make light of this. I think the Tiger King gained so much traction because there was this weird time in the world where everybody in the world was at home. And so this random documentary about tigers became a national phenomenon. And this was the same thing with this trial. We all watched. But this is the first time we've been able to hear from the witnesses, the people that had boots on the ground. They seemed credible. They seemed lucid. And Jeff, I thought about the young lady that filmed it because not only did she film a man's death, but she was then re-traumatized because a lot of people with so much anger then went after her for saying, why didn't you help? She then had to seek mental help. And now she has to, before her 18th birthday, go back on the stand and talk about this again. And I worry about that young woman.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what we think. I think our minds are made up, right? And by us, I mean just the community around
the people,
us.
yes.
And when the prosecution talks, they're going to say C. When the defense talks, they're going to say C. And they're going to want their theory proven right. It doesn't matter about us. It matters about the jury right now and what's going to happen. It's down to 12 people now what happens with the rest of this case. And hopefully we'll find out in 4 weeks.
Tori, what do you make of it?
I think Jeff's right, it really doesn't matter what we think, but certain details that I heard will influence the juror, and one of them was that the 911 operator allegedly thought the tape had stopped because it was so much pressure for so long that she thought there was a malfunction in the video camera. Those types of details give you chills, but they also convince jurors of intent, of negligence, these things that they need to prove in order to get it across. I think also, it's strange that at the end, we all saw a murder, and when he called for his mama, I don't think anyone can forget hearing that. And it's someone held a sign that said he summoned all mamas when he said mama.
Well said, Tori. Heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
And he screamed out, "I can't breathe," 29 times.